So Texas just passed a bill that finally stops criminalizing gun owners for something the federal government already kind of allows, with a ton of red tape, that is. But don't get too excited, because even though it sounds like freedom, this is more like a cleanup than a revolution. Let's break this down piece by piece, and I'll explain why this is less of a win and more of a correction Texas should have made decades ago.
A bill easing restrictions on certain firearms passed the Texas House early this morning after a heated debate.
Yes, Lauren, short barrel firearms are the focus of this bill. Many people refer to them as sawed-off shotguns. At around 1:30 in the morning, the state house passed legislation removing short barrel guns from the list of prohibited weapons in Texas. The guns would still need to be registered under federal law with a background check and $200 fee.
So let me get this straight. Texas is just now catching up to a federal law that's been on the books since 1934. Look, this isn't about expanding gun rights. It's about Texas finally realizing how dumb it looked for banning something that the federal government already allows with paperwork. The feds say you can have an SBR or an SBS if you register it and pay $200. And Texas still said, yeah, but we kind of sort of don't care. That's not the Texas freedom I know. That's bureaucratic cosplay. This new bill doesn't give us really much of anything. It just stops double punishing people.
Now, supporters of the bill say the state's restriction is redundant and unnecessary.
Think of the irony. You can have a handgun, you can have a long gun, but you can't have a long gun with a short barrel, but the pistol barrel is shorter than the short barrel firearm barrel.
I'm not thinking about the irony. I'm thinking about all those people that got shot.
That was a legally owned gun, and if it's a legally owned gun and someone commits a heinous offense, what can you do?
This is always the go-to tragedy. Instead of addressing the logic of the law, they reach for the emotional manipulation. What about the people who got shot? What about the logic of banning a rifle for being too short when handguns are even smaller? You can't say concealability is the issue and then ignore the fact that handguns are literally designed to be concealable. This isn't public safety, it's political theater.
Lawmakers against the bill argued the guns aren't used for sporting. They're concealable and highly lethal, citing the deadly 2018 Santa Fe high school shooting as an example. Investigators say the accused gunman had a pistol and short barrel shotgun.
And here we go. Santa Fe. And yes, I know the shooter used a short barrel shotgun, but let's be real. It wasn't some hyper-tactical SBR with lasers and night vision. It was a pump-action shotgun with a shorter barrel. That's it. The other weapon was a .38 snub-nosed revolver, about as basic and old school as it gets. So the idea that the barrel length is what turned this into a tragedy is lazy and disingenuous. It wasn't the gear, it was the intent. And both of those guns were slow, basic, and very much legal in every way except the length of the shotgun. So using this as justification for banning short-barreled firearms, that's just weak. Because it proves that someone determined to kill doesn't need anything fancy, just the will to do it.
Now, state lawmakers say there's between 350 to 900,000 short barrel firearms currently in the state of Texas. The bill passed 88-54. It's now expected to head to Governor Greg Abbott's desk.
That's almost 1 million short-barreled firearms already in Texas. And now, only now, we're admitting that punishing people at the state level on top of the feds makes no sense. But before anyone starts celebrating like this is some sweeping pro-gun revolution, pump the brakes. SBRs and SBS are still on the NFA. You still have to cough up $200 and wait months for government permission like it's a luxury item. This bill just stopped Texas from stacking another law on top of that, which is crazy to me. Let me hit you with some background. This whole mess started back in 1934 with the National Firearm Act. That's the law that put short-barreled rifles and shotguns in the same category as machine guns. Why? Because gangsters. Think Al Capone. Fast forward to modern times, the NFA still exists, and for some reason, Texas decided it wanted to go even harder, banning these guns altogether at the state level. Even if you followed federal law to the letter, Texas could technically still charge you. Now here's where things get interesting. There's a federal bill on the table called the Short Act. It would remove SBRs and SBSs from the NFA completely. That means no tax stamp, no registration, no months-long wait, just to slap a stock on a pistol. It's still in committee as of now, but if it passes, the NFA's grip on short-barrel guns could finally be broken. Think of it like the Hearing Protection Act for suppressors, except not as far along. So yeah, this new Texas bill is a step, not forward, just less backwards. It doesn't give us more freedom, it just takes Texas out of the way and lets the federal government be the only barrier for now. But the fact that Texas had more restrictive laws than the ATF should embarrass every so-called pro-gun politician in the state. If we really want to fix this, we push for the SHORT Act. We push to repeal the NFA, and we stop pretending that barrel length is what turns a firearm into a boogeyman. And with that said, make sure you hit the link in the description section of this video and check out the new line of hats, t-shirts, hoodies, the Defend America, like the hat that I'm wearing right now. So, hit the link in the description section. We got them in everything. Like I said, hats, hoodies, drinkware, you name it. This is actually one of my favorite designs from the store, as you can see right here. Just looking all nice and chocolatey. And now you can look all nice and well, that might be a little difficult, but you get the point. So head over to shop.mrcolionnoir.com and grab your Defend America merch with the link in the description section. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.